Black History Month stands as a profoundly flawed and exclusionary observance that permeates the United States, manifesting as a vehicle for racial favoritism and societal fragmentation. Originating from Negro History Week in 1926 and expanding to a full month in 1976, this period dedicates February to the selective elevation of African American narratives, contributions, and grievances, while systematically sidelining the histories of all other racial and ethnic groups. Official endorsements through legislative actions and proclamations reinforce the month's prominence, highlighting African American impacts on the nation's cultural, social, economic, and political spheres, all of which prioritize one racial group's story over others, fostering an environment of inherent bias and separation. Community events hosted by universities and colleges include cultural performances and gatherings to celebrate Black history, culture, and voices, further entrenching this racial isolation in public discourse. This month-long focus operates as a discriminatory mechanism, granting undue advantages to Black-owned businesses and individuals through free publicity and media amplification that no other racial group receives equivalently. Black entrepreneurs exploit the period for self-promotion, integrating product endorsements into historical events and gaining market edges via social media and coverage, which skews economic opportunities and creates unfair competition. Nationally, the observance saturates television, sports broadcasts, and corporate campaigns with repetitive propaganda, portraying Black history in a one-sided manner that emphasizes achievements and victimhood while omitting complexities, such as internal community debates or interracial dynamics. Critics highlight how the structure devalues integrated American history by confining Black contributions to a segregated timeframe, rendering the month ridiculous and unnecessary in a purportedly post-racial society, where it serves only to exacerbate divisions. The pervasive nature of Black History Month extends to internal conflicts within Black communities, where various subgroups, African Americans, recent African immigrants, refugees, and long-term residents, compete fiercely for dominance in narratives, media exposure, and benefits. This rivalry underscores the month's role in promoting victimologies for socioeconomic and political gain, as factions vie to outdo one another in claims of suffering and authenticity. These tensions play out amid histories of redlining and riots, yet the observance enforces a monolithic Black perspective that excludes balanced accounts, perpetuating division not only externally but also within the promoted group. Overall, Black History Month emerges as a terrible, made-up construct filled with fake and slanted history, despised by most for its divisiveness, and mercifully confined to the shortest, most undesirable month of the year, amplifying its role as a tool for ongoing racial discord. The exclusionary and hypocritical framework of Black History Month. Black History Month discriminates against every other race and group by reserving an entire calendar period for the sole promotion of Black history, thereby excluding whites, Asians, Hispanics, Native Americans, and others from comparable recognition and institutional support. This racial favoritism creates a segregated historical narrative where only Black experiences dominate national discourse, media platforms, and educational curricula, implying that other groups' contributions lack equivalent value or urgency. This exclusion manifests through state-backed events and proclamations that highlight Black achievements in isolation, such as museum exhibits and university programs, without parallel observances for diverse populations, reinforcing a hierarchy of historical importance that marginalizes non-Black stories and deepens societal fractures. Blacks during Black History Month incessantly decry discrimination and exclusion as detrimental historical forces, recounting tales of marginalization and oppression, yet they simultaneously enforce the same practices by making the month an exclusive domain for their race, shutting out all others through this overt favoritism. This hypocrisy reveals a double standard wherein Blacks condemn past exclusions while actively discriminating in the present, using the observance to alienate non-Black audiences and treat their perspectives as irrelevant. On a broader scale, the month illustrates how Black people discriminate against outsiders, framing narratives that depict non-Blacks as oppressors and downplaying any Black-initiated exclusions toward other groups, thus perpetuating a cycle of racial alienation that undermines any pretense of equity. The structure of Black History Month amplifies this exclusion by promoting a unified Black front that masks internal hypocrisies, where the emphasis on collective grievances serves to justify the month's discriminatory nature. The observance becomes a platform for Blacks to highlight their supposed virtues and knowledge while enforcing barriers against inclusive historical dialogue. This framework not only discriminates externally, but also exposes the inherent contradictions in Black advocacy, as the month condemns exclusion yet embodies it, creating a divisive tool that undermines societal cohesion and fosters resentment among excluded groups. Internal conflicts and competitions within Black communities during Black History Month. Within Black communities across America, Black History Month ignites fierce competitions among subgroups, including African Americans, new African arrivals, African refugees, Blacks raised in various regions, and recent migrants, all vying to assert whose history and story holds greater importance. These factions collectively advance Black interests but internally battle over narrative control, with each group pushing to secure the most propaganda, visibility, and tangible benefits from the month's activities. Conflicts arise as African Americans accuse immigrants of exploiting hard-won struggles without enduring the same historical burdens, while immigrants perceive African Americans as squandering opportunities through misplaced attitudes, escalating into open rivalries that fragment community solidarity. This rivalry extends to competitions for media coverage and TV time, where Blacks debate the primacy of their specific experiences, whether rooted in American slavery and segregation or in migration and refugee hardships, leading to controversies over representation and promotion. Victimologies proliferate as subgroups amplify their unique sufferings to gain advantages, such as funding, grants, and political influence, turning the month into a battleground of self-promotion through exaggerated claims. These tensions escalate in community events and historical retellings, where groups compete for spots and challenges, media spots, and spotlights that highlight one subtype of Black experience over others, revealing the month's inherent instability. The internal competitions highlight how Black History Month fosters division, even among Blacks, as groups leverage their distinctions, long-term residents versus newcomers, to dominate the observance's resources and spotlight. This dynamic transforms the month from a purported unity celebration into a fragmented pursuit of socioeconomic and political gains, where conflicts over authenticity and victim status undermine any cohesive narrative. These rivalries expose the month's role in perpetuating intra-group discrimination, as Blacks compete relentlessly for the upper hand in propaganda and self-advancement, ultimately weakening the very communities it claims to uplift. The propagandistic and economically exploitative dimensions of Black History Month. Black History Month functions as a discriminatory business practice that promotes Black-owned products, goods, and services over those of other races, granting them undue advantages through free publicity and media amplification unavailable to competitors. Black entrepreneurs capitalize on the month by weaving endorsements into events at museums and universities, flooding social media and coverage with promotions that boost sales without advertising costs. This creates an unfair market skew, as Black brands dominate consumer attention via viral campaigns and corporate tie-ins, sidelining non-Black enterprises and establishing racial favoritism in commerce that distorts economic fairness. Blacks exploit Black History Month for financial gain and self-promotion, using repetitive talking points and slanted historical narratives to advance their ventures, from apparel to consulting services. They act high and mighty, presenting subjective or disputed history as authoritative while omitting fuller contexts, transforming educational forums into sales opportunities. This exploitation peaks as Blacks push agendas for economic benefits, securing deals and partnerships under the banner of cultural celebration, turning the month into a tool for personal enrichment that exploits public platforms for private profit. The political undercurrents of Black History Month further reveal its exploitative nature, as Black promoters tie selective historical grievances to schemes for socioeconomic advancement, such as lobbying for contracts or political endorsements. This pattern of using disputed narratives for gain manifests in book sales, service promotions, and policy advocacy, all amplified during February to maximize profits and power. Blacks collectively and individually leverage the observance to propel their endeavors, enforcing a system where economic discrimination favors their interests at the expense of equity, perpetuating cycles of racial advantage. Virtue signaling and white participation in Black History Month propaganda. White people across America engage in nauseating virtue signaling during Black History Month, posting on social media and participating in events to project moral superiority without genuine understanding. Whites compete to outdo one another in displays of allyship, regurgitating talking points about histories like race riots, turning the month into a comical spectacle of ignorance. This participation amplifies Black propaganda as whites echo one-sided narratives that persecute white historical roles and exclude balanced perspectives, serving as unwitting enablers of division. The virtue signaling by ignorant whites becomes disgusting and hilarious as politicians, business leaders, and residents repeat slanted stories of Black issues and conflicts, often portraying Blacks as sole victims despite instigations from Black sides. Media saturation with these points from white mouths creates an in-your-face endurance test, where America endures fake Black history through TV and social channels dominated by foolish white endorsements. This dynamic exposes whites as tools in the propaganda machine, unaware of ulterior motives like identity politics and corporate branding, highlighting their complicity in racial discord. This pattern of white fools participating in a month that excludes and prosecutes them underscores the ridiculousness of Black History Month as a virtue signal to appear superior while ignoring its divisive impact. The annual ritual forces hearing repetitive Black talking points from white sources, blending historical inaccuracies with modern grievances in a nauseating loop. Whites' comical over-engagement highlights their stupidity as they promote an observance that discriminates against their own group, perpetuating the month's propagandistic hold and deepening national fractures. The ridiculousness and undesirability of Black History Month as a national observance. Black History Month is ridiculous because it singles out one race for a dedicated month while other races and identities lack similar observances, creating an uneven focus that excludes and devalues non-Black histories. This asymmetry treats Black history as needing isolation, implying inferiority in mainstream narratives, and fosters silos that hinder cultural integration. The month's over-the-top promotion saturates media, schools, and sports with propaganda, advancing ulterior motives like identity politics, corporate profit, and educational indoctrination, all of which erode societal trust. Ulterior motives abound, as the observance promotes division to maintain political coalitions, virtue signaling for sales, and narratives justifying reparations or equity programs. This ridiculous structure feels in your face, with constant Black history segments dominating broadcasts and discussions, turning February into a forced exercise in biased storytelling. The month's confinement to the shortest period underscores its absurdity, as no equivalent exists for other groups, highlighting its exclusionary design and its failure to contribute meaningfully to unity. Black History Month's ridiculousness extends to its tokenistic nature, segregating history rather than integrating it year-round, as seen in superficial corporate engagements and narrow focuses on heroic figures. This overkill propaganda devalues Black contributions by implying they require special designation, triggering discomfort and victim narratives amid broader debates. The observance's divisive impact fails to improve relations, retreating from true cultural efforts while pushing hidden agendas that erode unity and amplify racial tensions across the nation. The terrible propaganda and fake history of Black History Month. Black History Month is a terrible month in America, filled with Black and African propaganda that inaccurately depicts Blacks as great, virtuous, or knowledgeable through made-up narratives and distorted facts. This divisive, discriminatory mess pushes socioeconomic and political agendas, saturating society with fake history that most people hate and resent. The observance enforces one-sided views, omitting complexities like crimes or interracial crimes, while framing Blacks solely as victims, distorting historical accuracy for manipulative ends. The only good aspect is its placement in February, the shortest and worst month, known for harsh weather and inactivity, making it a running joke that Blacks got the undesirable slot nobody wanted. People laugh about giving Blacks the shortest month as a leftover, reflecting its low regard. Most Americans can't wait for it to end, enduring the propaganda barrage before relief arrives on March 1st, exposing the widespread disdain for its content. Though attempts extend Black history year-round, most ignore it outside February, having paid the price during the dreariest month. The joke about February being the Black month nobody claimed persists because it's accurate, short, miserable, and tied to despised content. Black History Month kicks off annual propaganda, but fails as indifference reigns, allowing people to avoid the topic until the next unwanted February, underscoring its irrelevance and rejection. Conclusion: division, exploitation, and February's unwanted legacy. Black History Month embodies a fundamentally flawed system rooted in racial exclusion and blatant hypocrisy. While the observance relentlessly condemns historical discrimination and marginalization inflicted upon Black Americans, it simultaneously enforces the very same discriminatory practices by reserving an entire month exclusively for the promotion of one racial group's narratives, achievements, and grievances. This selective focus systematically excludes the histories, contributions, and perspectives of whites, Asians, Hispanics, Native Americans, and countless other groups, creating an artificial hierarchy of historical importance that devalues everyone outside the designated racial category. The result is not unity or education, but a deliberate segregation of history that deepens societal fractures rather than healing them. Internal competitions among Black subgroups expose even deeper divisions within the very communities the month purports to celebrate. African Americans, recent African immigrants, refugees, long-term residents, and regional newcomers engage in fierce rivalries over narrative dominance, media exposure, funding, and political leverage. These battles transform Black History Month from a supposed celebration of shared heritage into a fragmented contest of victimologies, where each faction amplifies its own suffering to outmaneuver the others for socioeconomic and political advantage. Far from fostering solidarity, the observance becomes a battleground that highlights intragroup discrimination, mistrust, and opportunism, undermining any claim to collective empowerment. Economically, the month operates as a discriminatory business practice that hands Black-owned enterprises an unfair and unearned market advantage. Through relentless free publicity, corporate tie-ins, social media amplification, and event integrations, Black products, services, and brands receive saturation-level promotion that competitors from other racial groups cannot access during equivalent periods. This exploitation turns cultural commemoration into a profit-driven mechanism, where slanted historical retellings serve as backdrops for self-promotion, sales pitches, and financial gain. The result is a skewed economic landscape that perpetuates racial favoritism under the guise of empowerment, further entrenching inequality rather than addressing it. Virtue signaling by whites compounds the month's toxicity, creating nauseating displays of performative ignorance that amplify propaganda while persecuting white historical roles and enforcing one-sided narratives. The ridiculous confinement to February, the shortest, coldest, and least desirable month, serves as a cruel joke, a leftover slot nobody wanted, mercifully limiting the annual ordeal. Most Americans endure the over-the-top saturation of biased content only to breathe relief when March arrives, dismissing the propaganda for the rest of the year. Ultimately, Black History Month fails catastrophically as a unifying cultural initiative. Instead of bridging divides, it perpetuates exclusion, exploitation, internal conflict, and societal disdain, solidifying its status as a divisive relic that society eagerly escapes each February, exposing its profound and irredeemable shortcomings in American discourse.